Ja, demareren en dan wachten. Oh, je zegt gewoon. Zo ga ik staan, niet gedaan. Ja.
Hello, good afternoon and welcome to Luxembourg and the Festival Elsy Jacobs 2026. We've got two races for you this weekend. First of all, today we have the race in Garnich, which is the home of the famous Elsy Jacobs, who we'll talk about later on today. And then tomorrow we have Course à Luxembourg, which is the capital city, and we'll be down there tomorrow afternoon. But for now, we're here in Garnich, as I say, which is the home of Elsy Jacobs, the first ever women's road world champion. And you can see here that the teams were signing on in the sunshine. It's an absolutely gorgeous day here. A little bit of breeze, quite warm, lots of sun and the odd cloud floating past. We've had the Live Alula development team and also the UAE Team ADQ development team. You can see there in the front of your shot is the Ugandan champion, Jazila Umwakazi, riding for the World Cycling Centre. And there we have the United Arab Emirates champion, Sofia Alasegaya. We rolled off just about an hour ago. And you can see the Swiss national champion there, Steffi Haberlin. You can see today's route. We've got 4 laps, starting off with 4 laps of 18.1 kilometres. We've got 2 intermediate sprints and 1 mountains prize on that. And after 4 laps there, wait for it, we have 4 laps of 10 kilometres. And as you can see, there's little hills. There's no massive climbing around here, but there are hills and they're short and they're punchy, which makes this a really good day's racing. We've already had 1 of those intermediate sprints, but we've had an incredibly active day's racing so far, with the first hour run at 40 kilometres an hour. No feet, mean feet. The first intermediate sprint we had was won by Nienke Veenhoven with her Jumbo-Visma teammate Margot Vigier in second, and Camilla Bezzoni from the Mendelspec team. And now, as you can see, we have live images. We've also already had one of the climbing prizes, and my co-commentator here, Christine Majeras, will tell you what went on in that.
Yeah, good day everyone. Welcome to Luxembourg. Indeed, we had the first mountain sprint just a few minutes ago, and it was won just as the first sprint by Team Visma Elise Bike, but a different rider this time. Rosita Reinhold won it in front of the Italian rider from Team Mandelsbeck and a rider from Cofidis Burlova, the Czech Republic champion.
As you can see, we've got 70.3 kilometres left to go. My name's Owen Rogers, and we're going to talk you through, tell you what happens. It has, as I already said, been run at incredibly high pace, but you can just see now that it's just eased off a bit. Whereabouts are we on the course here, Christine?
This is actually a little bit the easier part. So we ride out of Garnich with a punchy short climb that we are doing every time, as well on the big lap, as well on the small lap. We're still on the big lap, so this is actually like a transition time while riding back to Garnich. I don't know how the wind is actually standing there. I know that the last 3 days it was quite windy in Luxembourg. I also know that this morning we had some thunderstorm and the wind got a little bit chilled out now, so potentially it will not play such a big role. We also didn't really see echelons happening already on the laps before. But they are heading now to a second, it's not really a climb, it's actually just a false flat. Where last year there was actually quite a big crash, I remember. I hope that this year we stay out of trouble, while the girls stay out of trouble. And that's actually it. The smaller lap is a little bit harder because the climbs are coming quite faster, one after each other, and are made to more aggressive racing than the big one.
That's what makes this route really good, and it's a very different race from tomorrow's. Tomorrow's more a sprinter's stage, whereas this is really a kind of classics race, isn't it? With those little punchy climbs.
I mean, it's always how the riders are making the lap. You can also make something really hard of a completely flat lap. But here you actually have the potential from the terrain here to make it really hard if you decide to do so. You also need to have a full team, like for example. Visma Elise Bike, they're only with 4, so then it's pretty hard to go full attack, especially if you have maybe the best sprinter on the car. Then you maybe also don't really want to go full attack all the time. But if you're here with a strong six rider team, then it's a nice lap to play the game.
Visma Elise Bike are one of just 2 world teams that are here on the start line today, and they line up with Margot Vigier, Rosita Reinhold and Ninka Veenhoven, who we've already mentioned, and they also have Katarina Sadnik in their team as well. But as Christine says, they're down to only 4 riders. The other world team that we have on the start list here is SD Works Pro Time, and they've got I'd say that's a pretty strong old lineup there with Femke Geritsa, Elena Cecchini, Barbara Grariski, Steffi Havelin, Michaela Harvey and Marta Lack, who has won 3 times at Elsy Jacobs, I think 3 times.
Well, at least she beat me one time 2 years ago. She won also last year. SD Works Pro Time, they are here also with 4 riders that are really well experienced in classic races with Gary, Femke, Cecchini, Guarici and Marta Lach. They are more classic riders, so this is actually a course that actually suits them. Harvey and Heberlin are maybe more the climbers of the team, but all in all, they come here with 6 really strong riders, all at a different time of the season. Also, you need to say this race is a little bit. It comes at the end of the classic season. Now the Vuelta is starting in a few days, so it's a little bit in between. Some riders want to have a little break. For example, Nina Bertin, the Luxembourgish rider that you can see here. Actually, she was supposed to do a little bit of a break after a very strong classic season. But I mean, she probably also wants to ride in Luxembourg. She pushes the break a little bit further ahead. Elena Cecchini, for example, she came back from a crash, so you need to see how it goes.
You can just see an attack here from the AG Insurance Sudal under 23 development team, just going on a little move there. They've come here with 6 riders, one of whom has dropped down from the world team, and that is Ilse Pleumes, who is racing here. She's actually, I think she managed a top 10 in last year's race. I seem to recall, go through my reams and reams and reams of notes. But as you can see, it's just brought back. Everything is being brought back. Just want to go through some of the other teams that are here racing today. We have 2 pro teams, which is the second level down. Volker Vessels, who you'll see in blue and white with black shoulders. We also have Cofidis, who have been around forever and have a very, very recognisable kit. We have 10 continental teams. I won't list them all. And we have 2 national teams as well, which is the USA team. They've got a particularly attractive looking sort of more whitey, sort of pinky, bluey, reddy thing going on, haven't they?
Brand new.
Yeah, and we have a mixed national team with 3 riders from Luxembourg and 3 from Iceland, which particularly interested me. So the Luxembourgish riders we have are Maite, Bartels, Lena Lallemand, and Nina Berton, and the 3 Icelandic riders. We have our Hafdís Sigurðardóttir.
I'm out of this. You can say it.
I practiced this at home yesterday. Britt Kristi Gunnarsdóttir and Julia Oddsdóttir, and they're all here, all riding their first race of the season. And I spoke to Julia before the start, and she was telling me her club have got a training camp at the moment, and it's freezing. When I say freezing, it is 0 degrees, and we've got 25 degrees here at the moment.
It's a little bit of shock for the system.
Bit of a shock for the system, yeah. So here we can see Jumbo-Visma right in the middle in that very bright yellow kit. They've been doing a lot of the work. They have been on the front for most of the race so far. It's good to see the Liverlula Jaco development team on the right in that lovely purple kit. They're also making themselves known and trying to boss the peloton, which for them is, I mean, the 4 riders from Visma Lease Bike are all World Tour riders. Then you've got this development team for Liverlula. I mean, what can they get out of a race like this? Do you think a team like that should be looking to win, or should they be looking to try and make something happen just so they get better?
I think this is a kind of race where, as a development team with a few riders that also are already racing a few races now in Europe, and also with success, I can say, because Erin Boothman, she did actually a really good result the last weeks, finishing second in Borstele, if I'm not mistaken. So they actually can, on these kind of races, come with a lot of confidence, and they have nothing to lose and everything to win. And if I see them riding in front, I can only imagine that that's a little bit the mentality they are coming with at this race.
Yeah. I spoke to Erin Boothman before the race. She's another one of the sort of multitude of Scottish riders that are coming out of Britain at the moment and doing really, really good stuff. She was 19 last week, and she said to me they'll probably wait and see what will happen here today. But she's also hoping she's a sprinter. She is a good sprinter, but she does count herself more as a classic style rider. So let's see what she can do. She's also a fairly decent track rider. Second in the Madison and Team Pursuit at the Hong Kong World Cup just the other week, and a multiple junior world champion on the track as well. Second at the recent Omloop van Borsele, and whilst she's with the development team here, she's already signed to go up to the world team.
The future is bright then.
Yeah, the future is bright.
But you were just saying that they want to sit and see. but there's sit and see behind, and there's sit and see and being present in the front, and that's making the difference. And they are actually quite present. We have now here a little attack. This is one of the few little climbs in between the sections. It's actually not so long, but it's kind of hurting if you go there in the last of the 4 laps. And also a nice opportunity to put a little bit pain in the legs of the others.
I was talking to one of the riders' mums just as they rolled out. Emma Seeger's mum was stood on the barrier talking to her daughter there and watched her ride off. Emma, of course, rode here last year and crashed, so didn't finish. So her mum's a bit worried.
It can only get better then.
Yes, yeah. Well, another year's experience, of course, and obviously sometimes you can't avoid a crash, can you? But another year's experience is going to help you avoid those kind of things. It's just stretching out here under the pressure of the AG Insurance team on the front. You can see Steffi Harbelin in the red of the Swiss Champions jersey with the specialised S in the middle of her red helmet. In fact, there's 2 specialised helmets on the front there. And the UAE development team and Livalula, as you said, Christine, they're not following, are they? They're trying to dictate the race here.
I mean, that's only the only way you can actually grow and get really something out of it. At one point, it's not enough anymore to just sit and see, but then you also need to take the risk and even if you're getting dropped after, but in the end, you probably get dropped anyway. So better than try and grab your chance than losing your time. That's only the way where you can get better.
Yeah.
And definitely those races are perfectly made for these kind of riders to step up, to show their potential, and show that they deserve more than just a development team.
Yeah. So certainly Boothman's done very well getting herself in that position, but she is a class act. I think if a world team puts their faith in a young rider like that, having them on the development team for a year and then promoting them to the world team, they know how much talent she's got. Of course, at that age, is she ever going to realise it? It's a whole different game, isn't it? Converting that.
You can never know at that age where it's going, but there's something. I see the development of women cycling the past years. It goes a little bit in the same direction than the men. That they're also afraid to miss the next talent.
Yes.
And I see a lot of teams, especially those who have the continental team, try to sign them as quick as possible, though, in the elite team, because they're afraid they go somewhere else, and that they develop while they got developed in your continental team, and then someone else is using your work. And I see that more and more also with the girls, actually.
Well, one rider that got snapped up very quickly after a big success is Kaya Schmid, who is riding here on the US national team, and she did exactly that, didn't she? She was second at the Junior Worlds, snapped up by Human Powered Health, and hasn't quite. Well, we don't know, do we? We've not asked her, but she hasn't quite realised the talent that people saw in her then, when she finished second to Zoe Backstead in Leuven, wasn't it? Leuven, and now she's here racing with the US team, but she's also racing with. She's actually on the books of one of the British continental teams. At the moment, she's on the books of the O'Shea Red Chili Bikes team. But that said, she has just finished a degree study, so it'd be nice to see someone like that.
Everyone has his own story.
Yeah.
And sometimes for some it can go really quick, and they fully concentrate on sport and just doing everything for the sport. And maybe in her case, there was more in her life, and it didn't click straight away. Like, she made the step straight away to a professional level, but then you don't really know what happened behind. And the good thing is that she's still on the bike. We can see her all on the left. It's the small rider. You can spot her very well by her size. But yeah, some people need a little bit more time to develop, and that's probably her case. So she just needs to give a little bit more seasons to see where sport can take her. But others are just stepping up straight away from the juniors and make it straight away in a big World Tour team and just go full for it.
We've got two previous winners who have won at either one of these races today or tomorrow's one-day races, or the Festival Elsy Jacobs used to be a stage race. I mean, it started off as one day, didn't it? And then went to become a stage race with a prologue and 2 stages. And we've got 2 previous winners. We've got Marta Lack, who we've already spoken about on the SD Works Pro team, who won the race here in Garnich last year. She won both races the year before, beating you. You said she was on Serrat then, wasn't she?
Yes, she beat me here on the first day of the...
Yeah. And then the other previous winner from Garnich is Elena Cecchini, who won here in 2015.
Already quite a long time ago. Elena is in her last season as a professional rider. I really hope she soaks up every memory she can. She was really going strong. Unfortunately, had a bad crash in Flanders where she broke a bone in her hand and she had to get operation. So this is her first race back now. She only has a few days of training on the road in her legs, but was motivated to get the most out of this race. Also towards the rest of the season where she will start at the Giro. I mean, that's very... as an Italian, riding your last Giro is quite emotional, so I hope she can build up shape again and to have a really nice last Giro for herself and surrounded by friends and families. I think that's always important. But yeah, as a previous year winner, I hope she comes with extra grit today.
Yeah, I mean, the break in her, I mean, it was communicated as a break in her finger, but it wasn't. She showed me earlier that the break was more in her hand. It might have been in the bone that expends into the finger, but it was at the bottom, below the knuckle, wasn't it? And that's a nasty place to get a break.
I'm not a doctor. I just saw where her finger was pointing at, and that was not the right direction. So I think there was no way of avoiding an operation.
Yeah. It was quite nasty, and of course, I mean, it might be all in the legs cycling, but actually you need your core and you need to be able to kind of hold on to the handlebars, don't you?
It was a nasty crash. I mean, I think she can be happy it was only the finger.
Yeah.
It was the crash where also Marlen Reusser crashed pretty hard, and I think there were 4 or 5 at the same time on the ground, also sharing a room at the hospital after.
I think Elena posted a picture on Instagram of her and Marlen next to each other.
Next to her, yeah, exactly. So I think, it was actually luck that she only broke a finger or a hand, and it's amazing that she could make that quick recovery in less than a month. So that's actually a good thing.
What's the psychological issues if you have a nasty crash like that? I mean, sometimes, do you suffer psychologically if there was no avoiding it? If someone goes down in front of you in the pack, in the middle of the peloton, there's nothing you can do about it. But how do people react to that?
Well, I cannot speak for the others, but for myself, if something happened that I could not avoid, I would not be afraid of it after, because that's just something that you cannot avoid. But if I had a crash where I was actually responsible for, like for example, going too fast in a corner and then my front wheel was slipping away, then I know that after I had a little bit of a harder time taking a right-hand corner if that was a right-hand crash. Because I know that was something I should or could have avoided. But for the rest, if something happens in front of me, then that's just bad luck. I think we are heading to the second sprint, the intermediate sprint now. It's interesting because this is also the finish, how it's going to be at the end of the 112k of racing. So it's always nice to take a little bit your marks to see where you would launch, and I think that's exactly what the Visma Lease bike is doing here. With doing a little bit of a lead out. Why is it more important here maybe than at other races? It's a strange finish, to be honest. I never got it really right. You come from a downhill and you only have the last 150 meters that are slightly going up, so you come with a lot of speed, but you also quite of lose it quick once it starts climbing again. So the timing is actually very hard to get here.
Yeah, this being Luxembourg, of course, the road surfaces are about as perfect as you get them. It's not like riding around Cambridgeshire. You're welcome to come to Cambridgeshire and ride.
I don't mind riding also in the UK, so I don't really care. But this is interesting to see now. We have Nina Bertin from the Luxembourgish national team, who had a really strong spring, who's trying to keep going with the effort after the sprint where the peloton was a little bit stretched out, trying to go a little bit with a harder pace on the next climb. Also because the heading into the climb is a little bit twisty turning. It's not just straight. They changed a little bit the parcours over the last years, so they added a little bit more corners in it, which is obviously stretching the peloton out. And yeah, we see if maybe at the top with a little bit of wind from the side, it can have a little break.
And that, in fact, that was Rosita Reinhout that won the sprint there. They're telling us it didn't look like her, to be fair.
No.
Oh, I've just got the message that I literally have just got the message from the mountain points. Go on, read us them through if you can, please, Christine.
So Nienke Winhoven won it, the second sprint, just as the first one. So that's 5 more points in her pocket. The second one is Nina Lavenue from AG Insurance development team, the French rider, still U23. And in third place we have the other rider from Visma who was doing the lead out actually, was Vigie Margot. So that's 1 point for her.
And so she's got 4 overall, but certainly looks like Veenhoven is edging away. She's looking to win that competition, isn't she? So we got on each of those intermediate sprints and as well. It's the same on the climbs. 5, 3, and 1 points first across the line. There are no bonus seconds. This being obviously a one-day race. I mean, I've been here a fair few times now, and I struggle to get over the fact that these are 2 one-day races, not a stage race. I was desperately looking through the road book during the week, during my prep, thinking, well, where are the bonus seconds?
Yeah, it's true that the bonus seconds in the last years nearly always decided the outcome of the general classification here. So you really had to go for the bonus seconds if you wanted to make sure to be the winner at the end or be on the podium. I mean, the year I won with 1 second ahead, and that was also because I was going for bonification sprints. Just to come back on the actual situation now, we can see those Australian flags. We just saw the Australian flag on the right. It looks like there's a quite strong tailwind over the top of the climb, which then isn't necessarily made of doing echelons, unfortunately. So yeah, and also if there's tailwind here, it means there's headwind on the top of the other climb.
Yeah.
So that's making the going away in a break or going solo also quite hard. We see maybe by the end of the day the wind is maybe blowing a little bit less, so the headwind is not so important anymore. But it's of course nicer for the race if it would have been side wind on this part of the race.
That's Manon de Boer from the City Mesh Custom Pro team, one of the continental squads that's been here, and they've had a brilliant spring. I've been following they haven't won anything, but they've been in the break every day, and that they have seen as one of the lower level continental squads. They've seen that as their job to get up the road, and you know, what more, especially if you're riding something like the Tour of Flanders or Gent-Wevelgem or whatever they call it now. It's their job as the continental teams to get up the road and enliven the race, and I really enjoyed watching them this year. I've really enjoyed them putting the effort in. One of the teams that are putting the effort in on the front here is the Hansling Alba development team, a Scottish-based squad with quite a few Scottish riders on it. I think their rider for today is Kate Richardson. I think she's the lady that they'll be going for today. She's got a shock of red hair. She's really easy to spot. And a really accomplished rider. Very decent on the track indeed. And also has a professional win to her name, though, at the Tour Feminin in Czech last year. She won the GC there. She's had a bit of an up and down career, in fact. She started off with the Life Plus Wahoo team. That went out of business. Moved across to the Hess team. That went out of business. And then found a home back actually where she started at the Hansling team. Joined the team, went straight off and won the Tour Feminin. She didn't get here with the team last year. And she won the team pursuit at the European Championships with the GB team in Turkey earlier this year. She's also apparently the current national criterium champion of Great Britain. Which is quite impressive, I think, because there's quite a criterium history
in the UK, which is not the case in other European countries. You have that also a lot in America. But in Europe, it's not so popular. We have Barbara Guarischi here in second position, trying to go a little bit on a break after this very, very fast downhill after the steep GPM.
And this the rider on the front there is one of the Das Hutchinson, which is another one of the British continental teams. There are only two here, and so we've just seen both of them on the front. Just trying to make it hard, and again, as the lower level teams that they are, that's their job, isn't it?
I don't know if that's the job is the right word to use. I mean, it's just the only way where you can actually get better. If you're over the moment where you can hang on the wheels, if you accomplish that, then you should definitely not be afraid to go on the attack, because you have nothing to lose. And sometimes it just works out that you're in a nice breakaway and you're ahead of action, and then you can enjoy riding a little bit with the big guns after. But yeah, you call it the job, but I just call it catching the challenge and accepting the challenge.
Of course, it's quite possible, of course, that one of the continental teams will win today.
Of course.
It's a 0.1 race. There are only two world teams here. That's
That's life on the edge.
That's life for Barbara Guarischi, isn't it?
It's just normal.
Yeah. I interviewed her at the UAE Tour after she guided Lorena Wiebes to another sprint victory, and she just loves that lead-out job. She was sort of overflowing with joy, not only that Lorena had won the race, but the way it had played out. It was a hard day as well. They'd come late. It was just brilliant to listen to her speak. The passion with which she speaks about her job.
She's one of the riders that really can read the race quite well, like knowing exactly when she needs to be in position and how. She's also a rider that can take a lot of risks if it is needed to, and as a lead-out rider, you also need to have that. And where others just try to go with full power, she can really sneak around, and I think that's also something Lorena really likes. She's really trusting her wheel 100%. And if everything falls then in places, I mean, if you put Lorena in a good position at the 200 meters, there's literally no chance that someone at the moment can beat her with the sprint she has.
No. She was talking about it, the whole world slowing down essentially, and she can't hear anything. The way she described it was that she can only hear what she's saying, shouting to Lorena, and Lorena is shouting to her. She's able to block out everything else that's going around her and concentrate on finding the way through to drop her off. It just, that focus is it must be a fabulous place to be. I think I had it once playing rugby for Cambridgeshire against Essex, and complete focus. We got beat quite badly.
That's what you need at that moment. Not only because it does come with a lot of risks, but you only have less than a second to take decisions, and if you take one wrong decision, then you screw up the work of the whole team that was done before. So it's a lot of responsibilities, and she knows that, and well, then obviously you take it also serious.
Number 31 at the back here is Ali and Anderson, Australian rider. I think I might be wrong there. Is she?
Oh, you were right.
Yeah. Ali Anderson. And the reason the bikes are coming through, and it is worth explaining, is they're the security bikes. They make sure this is a rolling closure. So once the whole race has gone, the road is now open, and then it's closed on the next lap round ahead of the race. So it's vital that those motorcyclists get through and make sure that the road is secure for the race to be run on. That's why you see they are holding some cars at the side of the road. This guy just getting through on his Honda, I think it is. Getting through on the actual side of the road.
It does get a little bit hard at the moment to organize races. The living together of cars, motorbikes, and riders is getting a little bit complicated. So yeah, it's a whole lot of organization. People don't really realize often how much work it is to get these races done every year, because the difficulties are just getting bigger and bigger. The motorbikes, it might look a little bit dangerous from the outside. I have to admit sometimes it is also a little bit dangerous, but mostly it's also dangerous because you need to let them through. And then some girls, they don't move, they don't open the door, and then the motorbikes are stuck in the middle of the peloton, and that's where it then becomes dangerous. But mostly if the girls are opening the doors, they just pass the peloton and that's it, then there's no danger.
On the front there was the Czech rider from Cofidis, the Czech champion Kristina Berlova. Quite fetching kit. I have to say I'm not a big fan of the Cofidis kit. The red and the yellow. For those of you in Britain who might understand this, it's Trafalgar Square next to Coventry Street on the Monopoly board, and red and yellow for me don't go together. I find that quite difficult.
You need to have something for everyone, huh? We're not discussing colours now here. I don't think it's so bad, to be honest.
But I do like Berlova's kit.
But that's just a traditional national
champ
kit. How can you not like
red,
national
white,
champ
blue,
kits?
Yeah. Of course, you're another Luxembourg here. Is another red, white, and blue, but a nicer blue. I think that sort of sky blue. It's
we have a nicer blue, of course.
Yeah.
We have the best blue.
That point of difference. It was always easy for SD Works kit when you were national champion of here, and you had someone that was also the national champion of the Netherlands. It was exactly the same pattern, but slightly different colour.
They also got it wrong, sometimes wrong. I started with the wrong blue in the beginning of the season, but then I complained and they changed it quite quick.
So they should.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Luxembourgish champion at the moment, Marie Schreiber, is not starting today. Is not racing today. She did had quite a difficult winter, being sick after Tour Lovenier, then getting sick again after Worlds in Rwanda. Did quite a decent cyclocross season, but also having to handle with injuries throughout the whole winter, so that was far away from perfect. And she started her season at the Scheldeprijs, which I think was going pretty nice, but got sick after that again. So they made the decision that she would not start today, which of course is quite sad for her, because that's the only race in Luxembourg, which is always nice, or for me at least it was always nice to ride with the national champ jersey here. And for the spectators also not nice as well. The organization would have loved to have the jersey here, but I mean, health goes first.
Absolutely.
And I hope she can build up quite quick so that she can have a at least a decent road season.
I certainly noticed last year, you know, in the national championships jersey, she got a lot of attention, didn't she?
Yeah, I mean,
which is great. It's great.
It's good it is like this. It would be a shame if it wasn't like that. She is a really strong cyclocross season rider, and she deserves, of course, all the respect and admiration from the Luxembourgish spectators. Yeah, it would just be nice if she could get a little bit more out of road racing. That's why I hope that her health.
She had
is
that World
coming
Cup,
back.
win at Hulst the season before last, didn't she? That was a.
It was impressive.
That's
an impressive,
a horrible
win.
looking course.
I never really liked it, but it perfectly suits her qualities as a rider. It's punchy, quite steep, also taking quite a lot of risks in steep downhills. I was always more like a slow cross rider when it was more physical with mud. But Hulst really is actually a perfect lap for her, and it was cool to see that a Luxembourgish rider could win a World Cup at the elite level.
Number 124 we just saw there is Hafdis Sigurðardóttir. I think I've been practicing it.
I can tell that you've been practicing. Yeah. I let you keep on going with the Iceland.
She's pretty well accomplished, certainly on the Icelandic scene. She's a multiple road and time trial champion, and she sort of had. I think she was top 30 at the Euro time trial championships last year, which from such a tiny cycling country is, I say, an achievement. You know, it's a tiny country, and it doesn't have the weather really for significant road racing, and so for them to gain experience is really difficult.
I mean, Iceland is pretty big. It's not that tiny.
Yeah, but the scene. I mean,
I think they are more for gravel. I know the Rift. Yes, the Rift must be a really nice race to do. It's an iconic gravel race. Yeah. Which is somehow on my to-do list, but that's probably the to-do list that's never going to happen. But yeah, they don't have a really culture for road cycling. You're right. I did cross some of their passes when I was doing the games of the small states of Europe. They are always also present. So I raced already against some of them, but it's true they probably don't have a big scene of road cycling.
In fact, the first time I came across her name was on the start list at the Scottish Gravel World Series race, the Gralloch. I used to do some work for them, and she went along to there, and I saw these names, sort of national champion of Iceland. Well, about look her up. And that's the first time I'd come across her name. So when I saw her on the start list, when I got the start list yesterday or the day before, I thought, oh, right, okay. And so I made it my business to speak to at least one of them this morning.
We are now in the last lap of the 4 big laps. So this is the last time we go up these little kickers here. And it looks like the girls decided that nothing's gonna happen on the big laps. We saw the laps before that some girls tried to still attack, although now the lift Alula maybe is gonna
I thought
gonna make me lie. But we see then maybe they decide that if with more climbs coming closer next to each other, it might be more interesting to put pressure on the others. But the big lap will not decide it then this time.
Is it like a bit of a slow burn that the big lap is for this sort of settling part of the race, and the dynamics on the smaller lap make it more aggressive?
I wouldn't say that. I come back to what I said in the beginning, that it's the riders who make the race. Mm-hmm. When I raced here the last time, there was a breakaway that went on the big lap, and it was not necessary also on the climb that we went away. We went on the downhill, and then we were able to push it, and that no one came back. So it actually is possible also to maintain over the distance if you're a group of 4 or 5, but you really need to commit to it. And clearly the attacks were not strong enough. The wind maybe also was not strong enough, or from the wrong direction. And if you see that in the first 3 laps it doesn't really break, then it probably also doesn't make sense to try on the 4th. But then you go on plan B, and the plan B obviously is the small lap where the difficulties will come quicker one after each other.
We just caught sight of number 91, who is the former World Junior Road Race Champion and Time Trial Champion from Bergen. Was that 2017? I think when Chantal Black, as she was there, won. I think that was then. You must have been there.
If I don't know, then I'm not saying anything.
That team, Mendelspec, is actually run by her dad, who is a former Carabinieri policeman and a former pro cyclist, actually, in Italy. But they've been around a sort of kind of lower levels of the continental scene. But there are so many continental teams in Italy, aren't there? There's, we've got a few of them here today. What with Mendelspec, and we've also got
Fassa
Bortolo, and Romitella Vaiani. I nearly said that. Romitalia Vaiano as well.
Just to come back to Elena Pironi, I do remember her when she became a world champ with the juniors. She was really quite impressive. It was her and no one else. And she's also the kind of rider that could have made the step straight away in a big professional team. But kind of when she stepped over to the elite, she still didn't really make it. It didn't really click. But she's still around. I know that she's a rider that loves to ride aggressive and also tries to go into breakaways. But for me personally, when I saw her winning with that much gap over the others at the junior time, you could have thought that she would be also the next big rider at the elite level, but she didn't really confirm it.
Yeah, I mean,
next years.
Team choice perhaps wasn't the best thing. Going to the Astana team, which were never the most competitive team when they won here with. With
Letizia Paternoster.
That's right.
She was there. She beat me 1 year here when I got a second. So. Yes and no. There are, of course, choices that you make that take you to one or another direction. It's just as I said. Sometimes you see just with time, only time can tell. Yeah. And you can be the best junior rider, but then it doesn't click for yourself once you're with the big girls. But she's still there trying, which is.
She very much
remarkable.
Sort of taken she went from Astana to Valcar, who were a brilliant team, developing a lot of big names over the years, and then went to the Israel Premier Tech Roland team, joining Mendelspec this year. I think they've disappeared. They're a long team. I think they've gone now. They've from what I can see, or have they? Oh no, they're still about. But as a club team, as opposed to they were World Tour last year, and now they're a club team. Perhaps we'll talk about that another day. Fassa Bortolo getting involved on the front there, wearing those orange shorts. They've always had that kit. In fact,
they never changed. I think they just try to don't spend money on a new design.
No.
It's also a way. I hope they pay the girls more than because of the money they don't have to spend.
They had the same team
the design, but it's a remarkable. Well, since I started, they are the same. And that's already quite a long time ago.
Yeah, and they had the same team car for a long time, and that was getting increasingly tatty, I noticed. I actually spent a race in it with the guy once, with their DS and their mechanic. It was the Madrid Challenge. I can't remember when, 17 probably, when that was a one-day race around Madrid.
But to come back to the Italian teams, there are a lot of those. Also, Valca, for example, you have I think it was Elisa Balsamo who was on the Valca team. So they really do a lot of work and regularly bring big riders up to the best level. So it's nice it's also nice to see that those smaller teams are still around, because that's just also the way to get into professional, real professionals.
Elisa Longo Borghini started at Top Girls Fassa Bortolo.
That can be true, yes.
Yeah, and look at her as one of the absolute top riders.
Everything is possible.
Absolutely, yeah.
Also doing some cyclocross here was also possible.
Sydney Swirenga, Canadian rider here at the back here, just desperately trying to get back in the slipstream of the peloton. Then racing the and now we see why.
That was the cyclocross.
Yes, yeah. I missed it. She did well there to keep that up. And she has raced a bit of cyclocross. Not a lot, but she has raced cyclocross. I have absolutely no doubt. If you're racing cyclocross, you already know you're fairly confident in your bike handling skills, and so she held that out. I know what would have happened to me. I would have been lying in the field, swearing, and then I would have just ridden back and got changed. And that's just a
I don't know.
third category.
I think that you would have finished in the cow shit just next to the
or try to find a bar somewhere, knowing me. That's Barbara Goriski just looking across to her left at the Liverlula.
But this is also the first time we see SD Works Pro Time now regrouped as a whole team. They actually like to do that they in the beginning, when everything is chill and you don't really have to pay attention, everyone looks a little bit after themselves. But as soon as you see the bigger teams regrouping like this, it does mean that you have to pay attention, because if they decide that to make the race a little bit harder, then it's mostly going to happen as well. So it's a little bit a sign that they also pointed maybe out at the start of the small laps. It's the start of a new race actually now.
Yeah. And they're just coming towards the finish line here in Garnich now. So we'll have 4 laps when we hit 40 kilometres to go, in fact. And it did look like Goroski was actually doing a lead out there, didn't it? They're just positioning everyone ready.
It's just positioning, because now you go on the climb that they did already 4 times, which is Tristy Turning, where we saw a little bit earlier on Nina Berton trying to put on an attack. The big difference now is after this climb, it's still the same downhill, going very quick towards the next climb, which then starts straight away. The laps before, you had this middle part where it was flat, where you could recover or come back into the wheels. Now that's not possible anymore. You turn left and not right, and then you are straight on the next climb, which is the Rebierge. And that's a nasty climb. It doesn't look like that, but if you're already hanging in the wind behind, it's quite hard to come back.
Visma moving up again, but yeah, it's actually narrow as well. This road, as you can see here, is pretty wide, and you go up and round to the left, and then bang, it's really narrow, isn't it, as it goes through the village?
The first climb, it's actually the positioning is key, but because if you are in good position at the bottom and not so strong, you might lose some places, but that's not so bad. But if you're already out of position at the bottom of this one, there's no chance to move up, because it's quite narrow, and you really need to be so much stronger than everyone else to move up.
Yeah.
So that's the lead out you were talking about. Normally we are talking about lead outs for
sprints. That's right.
But here it's just a lead out for position, actually, at the bottom of the climb.
And talking of it, I love to see the Liverlula. You know, we spoke earlier about them being essentially a development team. This is what they're doing. They're learning how to position their teammates, aren't they?
Yes.
And this is absolutely perfect. Martelak just moved up there. And we got a crash with one of the USA riders and one of the UAE development riders just down there. They didn't look too badly hurt there. Just going through some of the team buses, the SD Works bus there on the right. and Cofidis just moving to the front now and showing themselves. They've been there or thereabouts in this last lap, haven't they? But you can see just how the rider's cadence slowed way down there, just how steep it is. And you never get a clue of gradient, do you, on the television, on a screen? You look at the screen and there's nothing you can see.
Yeah, this is actually quite steep. I always liked the climb because it's not that long, so you can really go in the pain cave because you know it's not that long. Yeah, this was riding into someone's wheel and then just flipping over, I think.
Yeah, number 73 there, or was it 173 from the Australian team, was Lydia Cusack. From the Australian, sorry, American team. But then I think that's Alison Rugal on the front in the middle, I think. I mean, she looks incredibly strong.
She looks a little bit like Kirsten Faulkner, I have to say. At one second I thought, is she on? No, she's not on the list. But yeah, you have riders, you have different type of riders. You have the ones that are very lean and very looking like a climber already from far away. But that doesn't mean that if with a bigger body, with a lot of power, you can't climb as well as the lean persons. So don't get fooled by the outlook.
Attack at the front from the City Mesh Custom Pro Cycling team here. Just as Lydia Cusack was getting back on, boom, the attack goes at the front, and I think the Cofidis rider.
Hannah Ludwig.
Hannah Ludwig, yeah.
This is also going to the next GPM. Oh no, the next GPM is, we're switching now. So the laps before, the GPM was on this climb. From now on, the GPMs are taken on the second climb of the lap. That's the big difference.
Yeah, it is Ludwig there. I can't see who the SD Works rider is.
I think it was Mickey Harvey. This is actually now the first time we see a little break behind. We see that Liv missed it. So it's their responsibility to either bring it back or to make the bridge.
I need to know who that is. Whoever she is strong. She's basically dropped the peloton. She's ridden off the front to bring that back. So it's still not back together. It's an interesting little break here. We need to see some turns coming through. I wonder if the City Mesh rider you would have thought would be happy to come through, but will Harvey be happy to come through and the AG Insurance rider be happy to come through and drive it on? But Ludwig is a strong rider. I do like watching her race, actually. She's aggressive, isn't she?
Yeah, she's also a pretty good TT rider. Yeah. So it's a nice group. Visma missed it. I know they are only with 4, but they have the big sprinter with them, so I think everyone might look a little bit to Visma now to bring this back. On the downhill, it's a little bit difficult because everyone is going 90 an hour. Yeah. It's hard to go 95 unless you have a really big chainring, which no one does. So here they will not come back in the downhill. But now we see instead of turning right, we turn left. And it's a tight turn, isn't it? It's a tight turn, so it's actually a full, nearly a standstill turn. And then we head straight away into the next climb. And if this is actually a nice group, but they need to push over the next climb to keep this gap. If they now start looking at each other on the bottom of the climb, well, then it was all for nothing. So I can only suggest that they don't start looking at each other already. They now need to commit.
Yeah, need to start moving, to working together, don't they? You saw Ludwig just stick her arm out as if indicating to make sure everyone knew that this is a tight turn. It looks to me that the AG Insurance rider doesn't want to. No, maybe she's going to keep this going. Harvey surely will keep this going. That's the SD Works way, isn't it?
Yes, she has 5 strong girls in the backup, so she can bury herself. She for sure will turn. She's also a very good climber, so this should be her favorite part of the lap. And they actually got a quite big gap. Yeah. So if I was there, I would just full go for it. And if it doesn't work, then my teammates would take over behind and go for the next one.
Be interesting to try and get those numbers when we possibly can.
We probably get anyway the first 3 on the top of the climb, because that's going to be the GPM. For Visma, I think that was actually the first thing I said when we went live. That with 4 people, it's quite hard to control. And now they are in this position that they missed the group, consciously or unconsciously, but they are not there. And but they do have the strongest sprinter. But with 4, then it's hard to control it.
And we're talking about Nika Veenhoven here as the strongest sprinter. Let's get those numbers. No is the answer. And as you can hear a little bit of Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers just coming through here. The motorbike with the sound has just pulled into the finish area. The last band I was in played this one. I quite like playing drums to this bit. See, nice little bit of a.
For the people that are watching us, and now I can describe you, Owen, right now. He's playing air drums next to me.
There's Peroni, just looks like she's slipping off the back there.
That's what it's a bit ironic, because it was Elena Pirone and also Kaya Schmidt, the 2 riders that we were talking about earlier on, that really dominated the junior categories, and they are getting dropped together.
Yeah.
We have one rider who's trying to bridge.
That's a massive effort. This is the Das Hansling team. I think that's Katie Scott trying to get across, maybe. I think it's Katie Scott. She's got an interesting story as well, I have to say. So our breakaway here consists of Sydney Swerenga from the Liverlula Jayco team. We also have Anna Brunel from the AG Insurance Sudal Development team, Cleo Kikens from the City Mesh Custom team, Michaela Harvey from SD Works, and Hannah Ludwig, as we already identified, coming just desperately trying to get the breakaway to work together. But as we can see, just coming over the crest of the hill, they've got a good lead, and we can also see on the front is the yellow jersey of Visma Elisa bike, desperately trying to bring this back. And as you said, Christine, it's so difficult when you have 4 riders. You've got to commit to everything.
Their sprinter got dropped.
Veenhoven
from,
is out the back there. Yeah.
So that's not a very good. Not very good news for Visma, as they are leading the peloton, trying to come back to the break. We could see that Hannah Ludwig was really trying to motivate the other riders to ride through. This is now the part where they probably have headwind, so it's not so tailwind, side wind, but it's not so nice if you're on a breakaway. I mean, here you really hit a wall, and you also, it's quite tempting to not turn, to say no, I stick in the wheels and I recover. But they really need to commit for a lap or a lap and a half to see what's coming, because they need to get out of view of the peloton, especially as Visma seems to be the only team to lead this. So they need to commit.
It's interesting that Visma are bothering to get back when their sprinter is dropped. You know, and they with one out the back and one on the front.
They have no one in the front.
Yeah.
So they need to come back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if they stop riding at the first sight, the bigger teams are in front. So if if they don't ride, this breakaway has a really big chance to stay out. So.
Ludwig's still trying desperately to get everyone to come through. And it does look like Brunil, the AG Insurance rider, just coming through. She's coming in through, but perhaps not with the effort that...
Yeah, but it's not so bad. It's not so bad that I mean, in the breakaway you always have riders that are pushing more than others. The most important is that everyone rides through, that the speed stays high, and the speed can also stay high if you don't stay long on the front. It's even maybe sometimes better to stay less long in front, to just come through, keep it rolling, keep it high, go back again. I know then it's coming back quicker, but the group rolls keeps rolling fast at the same speed.
Swearenga is only 18. I mean, she's 19 next month, but she's younger than my she's younger than my oldest, not quite as old as my I can't remember what I'm even trying to say here.
I hope your daughter is not listening, because that means that you don't know the age of your daughter.
No, she's off to see who's the female pop woman that wears polka dots. I can't remember. I can't remember. She's off to some concert in London tonight. But still, Ludwig going really great guns here. We've got Michaela Harvey just rolling through here. And Cleo Keekens is the City Mesh rider in the black. Number 81 there on the back of the bunch is Valentin Fortin, who has done well here before. I believe she was second last year, second in the Cessange race, in the Luxembourg race, which we'll see tomorrow.
With Visma Elise Bike only have one rider to really pull. I don't know who it is, because we couldn't get the number yet, but obviously she cannot do this now for two more laps. So I would suggest that she keep this as close as possible, and if she has a teammate who's still feeling good, that she tries to do a jump at the next climb, to make sure that they get a rider in this group, not necessarily bringing the group back, but putting another rider in it. And then they would not have to ride anymore in front of the peloton, because with one rider only riding, that's going to be quite hard.
I think that Hannah Ludwig's problem here is she's taking these big turns and no one else is taking big turns. She's driving it on, yes, but she needs more cooperation here, doesn't she, if it's going to stay away. Mind you, it doesn't look like the bunch are closing in at all, and we're heading down towards the finish line, as you can see, 600 metres until we cross the finish line here in Garnich.
Sometimes if you have a breakaway where one rider feels stronger than everyone else and maybe wants it a little bit more, that the group stays away than the others, or has more interest in the group staying away, it can create a little déséquilibre within the group of level. Disharmony, yes. I know Hannah quite well. I know she's a very nice girl. So if you see her screaming, it's not meant in a wrong way. It's just her way of asking more help, because she can probably also feel that this is a nice group. Yeah. And well, she's putting a lot of energy in. And the time gap is now 8 or 10 seconds.
Fassa Bortolo doing the work on the front there. We've got SD Works with the Steffi Havelin just sort of
I think Steffi was she was also blocking a little bit Visma. She was sitting in second position to make sure that no one could come over Visma doing the most of the work. It's a little bit a sneaky tactic, but it's okay.
And this is a dropped group. That's the dropped group with Nienke Veenhoven in there, the Visma Lisa bike rider just coming through. And she, as Christine has rightly said, is a very strong sprinter and the best sprinter in the race, isn't she, really? This is the interesting bit. Can this group stay away over this climb? This, for me, is the interesting bit. I'm pretty sure that is Katie Scott, who is in second wheel in the blue shoulders and the green body there of the Das Hutchinson team. She's only just joined, or I'll rephrase that, rejoined the team. She stopped racing sort of seriously and was just racing a few races each year and not committing. And then she decided to make a bit of a comeback. There's Vigier just going out the back, so they've really blown themselves to pieces, haven't they?
Yeah, I guess she was maybe the rider that did the work to try and come back. Now it's going to be interesting to see if someone can make the jump, because Fassa Bortolù, they are still riding as a group. I don't know if they really have the strength to bring it back, but for sure they have one or another strong climber that could try and do an attack from the back, trying to bridge over.
What I do know is that police motorcyclist is going to get caught here. He's in a gap that perhaps isn't the best place to be. That's such a small gap, and now he's got the descent. So he's stuck between a rock and a hard place there.
He will find his way.
He will. They are quite good at riding their motorbikes, these guys.
But here also, like this group, I know this is hurting, but they really need to commit. Like, don't drop the speed now here, because it's quickly done also. Yeah,
it's only natural that that the gap would be shorter on the climb. You can see just lurking near the front but not at the front is one of the Visma Lisa bike riders. Is in there close to the front, but when you've lost 2 of your 4 riders, you are really in a difficult position, aren't you? And they will have come to win.
This
They're
is
a world
now
team.
this is really now also mental. It's also a mental game. I know you're only standing on 8 seconds, so it's as if you're riding in front. It's easily said for yourself, I'm putting a lot of effort in and we don't go away, we stop it, it's not working. But you really should commit anyway. Now you put already so much effort in that if you stop that would also be stupid. But now it's a mental game between the breakaway and the peloton. Like who's cracking the first? Because if now the peloton sees that they don't come closer, and they are actually losing all the teammates that could bring it back, well, they might give up also.
Yeah, you could just see the pressure. Ludwig's effort on this climb has split that breakaway. Good thing, bad thing? Do you think? To be 3 instead of 6.
No, not necessary. I think the 3 strongest riders are now in front, and it's also good to know that you are the strongest, and you also commit maybe a little bit more. The only thing is that you dropping teams that are then potentially right behind you.
Yeah.
So I don't know if AG maybe have riders that could bring it back. They didn't ride until now because they had someone in front, but by dropping Anna, then maybe they also decide that now it's also up to them to bring it back because they also want to win. But these three were definitely the strongest, and if they all commit, then it can be a nice rolling breakaway.
I have a feeling, just because she is the World Tour rider in the AG Insurance Development Team squad today, that they'll probably be looking for Ilse Plomers. She was 10th in the Luxembourg race last year, under 23 European road champion in 23. So she's a very accomplished rider. She's on the World Tour team, so it's kind of my feeling that that's who they're going to go for. I mean, I did mean to try and speak to their sports director Danny Christmas this morning, but I didn't get up to see her, and just sort of get a sense of how they were going to approach the race. But the person that's really impressing me is this rider on the front, Swirenga. Yeah, she's really impressing me, and I think she was one of the riders they were looking to for today. But as I say, she's 18.
But the gap is now really big.
Yeah.
You cannot see the peloton anymore behind, and that's what I said. They needed to get a little bit out of view. It looks like they won the mental game with the peloton. They broke them, and if the peloton has no teammate to ride anymore behind, if the leaders of the teams that were riding behind are getting dropped themselves,
Yeah.
well then the peloton is standing still quite quick, and then if these three are still committing and riding nicely together, then the gap can grow quite fast. I would say they still need to go full on this climb, and then once they are coming at the top, they can maybe ease it up a little bit and ride smooth to recover a little bit, because they are really under fire now for already 1.5 lap. So at some point they also need to catch the second breath. But I think it's important that they grow the gap as big as possible until the top of this, and then try to just keep it rolling smoothly.
Just saw Michaela Harvey's cadence sort of spin up as she switched from the big ring into the little ring, just to get up this climb. It's a good 8-9%, isn't it, up this?
It's starting actually falls flat, and then it gets steeper. The steepest part is all at the end.
Ludwig still trying to motivate the rest of the team. It does look to me that perhaps Harvey isn't going through as strongly. Swerenga just flicks her elbow there, getting Harvey to come through, and through she comes. But of course, SD Works are in a brilliant position here. Of the two World Tour teams on the start list today, they're the only one that started with full 6 riders. But equally, their two main competitors, which we would say would be Femke Gerritsen and Marta Lack, are sat quite happily in the back, not having to do anything. No one's having to work, are they? So they're really in a good position with someone up the road. But it's Ludwig still doing the lion's share of the work here, just checking over her shoulder. Is that her normal pedalling style? A bit heavy.
Yes, so that's the way she's pedaling. She's a rider that is always going full gas, not counting her efforts. So that's something I really like about her. She's a good mate to have in a breakaway, and I think she found 2 other girls that are also sharing the work quite equally, to be honest. It's a luxury for SD Works to be here with a full team. That means that behind Marta or whoever they decided to be the leader for a final lap or for a sprint, can just relax and sit down and just following and surfing on wheels. And on the other hand, Harvey can just go full gas, knowing that even if she gets dropped or if she's getting caught back by the peloton, the work was done and was well done, so she can go full gas without thinking of what's coming.
What do you reckon? 24 kilometres to go. Is this going to come back? When you bear in mind?
It now depends on. I think Volker's faster. They also have no one in front. Maybe they can unite with together with AG. They should speak the same language. That should be easy to communicate. If there are two teams behind that, get an agreement done to work together, then maybe it can come back. But we have strong riders here in front, and now the gap is up to 35 seconds.
Harvey's style is just absolutely beautiful. Look how still her shoulders are, whereas the other two, Ludwig and Swerenga, their bodies are rolling a bit. Harvey is just rock solid.
She's a very stable rider. I'm happy that she's riding at the level. I think she's a very promising rider that maybe until now has sometimes very, very good races, but maybe not still the stable level all the time. And I hope that she can reach that stable level throughout the season. I mean, she's more of a stage racer actually, more of a climber, and that's, I guess, also why she she signed at SD Works because they needed a rider like her.
And there we go, Volker Wessels there
Yes.
on the front. Third wheel, though, you'll notice SD Works, third and fourth wheel, have got two riders, and their job is basically, and behind them, in fact, I can see one of the Liverlula Jaco development team riders. So they're there to stop this coming back, aren't they? And these two Volker Wessels riders are really going to have to put a shift in here.
Yeah, as I see, the only teams I can see now to try and collaborate to bring this back is Volker Wessels and AG. If they still have, we see them moving up now on the right and on the left. So they still have women power, not man power, women power to try and do something going into the last 20k. All the other teams, I think they are not interesting, or they actually are looking at the other teams to try and bring it back, crossing fingers that it can come back, and then they are again in a better position to fight for the win. But I don't think we see Visma trying to do a collective effort, because there are not so much left already. And
I saw Rosita Reinhardt just lurking around the front. She's just there. She's just poking her head out there on the right.
I think their only chance is to maybe counter attack and bridge over.
On the climb.
They will not do it together.
AG Insurance just come through to the front now, and that looks like it could be Brunel, who's just been caught. Yeah. Dropped by the leaders and caught by the bunch. So it looks like her coming back to take the lead. Ludwig again on the front, giving it a good effort. Ludwig took the points there on the
QRM, and that's also making her the winner of the mountain classification. So that's already something in the pocket for her.
Yeah.
But it looks like she's not satisfied with the mountain.
No, I don't think so. And why should she be? You know.
Oh.
Oh, that looks to have come back a bit. What was that? Sorry, I missed it.
I'm not sure if the time gap was that correct, because they just sit
That's close. Mind you, it's no closer than it was the last lap, but it does look like the efforts made by Volker Wessels and AG Insurance have really put a dent in this lead, which was big.
It was up to 30 seconds, so they really profit from the headwind to put in a stronger effort than the three in front of it. I was like a little bit surprised now how quick that came down, to be honest.
Ludwig has only one race win to her name, and that was the Navarra Women's Elite Classic in 2024. It's one of those gnarly Spanish races.
Yeah, those races are always quite hard, to be honest. If you wanted to have a good workout, good training by racing, then you ask your team to go and race in Spain. You're always sure that you come out in good shape.
Of course, with the Vuelta starting tomorrow, did you know there are more World Tour race days in Spain than in any other country?
No, I've learned that.
They're all this month. If you can read all about Spanish state
yes, we were talking. We were always talking about the Spanish block. May is traditionally over the last years has become a Spanish block with loads of nice, punchy, hard races, and mostly the same riders are nearly doing everything. Or at least the same are doing the first part of the month, and then some are changed out, and then they finish it together.
You can read all about Spanish racing on Cycling News. Feature someone wrote, I can't remember who. Oh, me. That came out this week. If anyone wants to go there,
send me the link.
I will. I'll send you the link. And if it's behind a paywall, I'll just let you read it on my laptop.
That would be appreciated.
So here we come through, 20 kilometres to go now, and we still have our leading trio of Hannah Ludwig, Sydney Svieringer and Michaela Harvey. But it does look like they're going to come back. Harvey just coming through to the front now over the finish line, just outside where we're sat, with the peloton closing right in. What's that? 8 seconds, 7, 8 seconds. With the Volker Wessels team, they're on the front. Still, they're driving on though. A very, very impressive performance here from Sydney Sveringer from the Liverlula Jayco Continental team. I'm really impressed with her. And of course, they're in a similar position to SD Works. They might not be a world team, but they've got a good sprinter in the back.
They have
in
more
Booth.
behind, yes.
Yeah.
The big difference between these three riders and maybe the Volker Wessels riders behind, I mean, you could see that where did Volker Wessel come back really strong was on the flat part where you could put a lot of power in. I know these girls are very strong when it comes to just go full gas on the flat. Now we're going to see if they can have the same level than those three when it's climbing. If they can bring the gap also down, or if on the climbing part where I think these three might be a little bit better than behind, if the breakaway can increase the gap a little bit more again.
I'm thinking that Volker Wessels will be looking to sprint maybe with Scarlett Søren, maybe, or
I think we have
Janssen.
Janssen who did quite decent results lately.
There you go, coming into the village at 60 k's an hour, breaking the speed limit. How dare they?
It's okay.
Yeah, I think it's okay today, isn't it? I do remember once getting flashed by a Luxembourg police helicopter as I...
Did you?
Yes, on my motorbike. It might have been my mates and they weren't interested in me at all, but yeah.
Coming back to Eline Janssen, I just said that she had some decent results. She finished 5th at the Umlaut Hageland, 8th at Nokere, 5th at Dwarsdorf Flanders. So that's quite a good classic season she had.
And those races are more like this than tomorrow is.
Yeah, well. Today is really, as you can see, there's not so much recovery in between those climbs. If you do the climbs once, they are easy chilly, but if you have to do them 8 times in a row, ask these girls that are just crossing the line now, then you quickly understand that it's hard. But this is just what I said before.
Off the back.
The two of the 6 riders from Volker Wessels that were probably pushing to bring the break back. Yeah, they are hanging now in the sails. So.
61 is Scarlett Søren, and that's Florian Bolks in the other rider that's been put out the back. So I'm guessing, that they're not going for Søren, although she's one of the riders that's been doing the big efforts. But
that's now maybe, the sign for the break in front that they are actually stronger than the bunch when it goes up. And they might lose 1 or 2 seconds when it's flat again. But they need to really go for it on the hard parts and try to limit the lose on the faster parts, and then they can still have quite a good chance.
This trio of women are doing a really, really good job staying away. When you bear in mind how close they were, closer than that, weren't they? And they've just held them off. So you're right. It's the flat bit, but with those two out the back, they're not going to get back on before the flat bit.
No, they won't, because now they go back again on the climb. So and even if they come back, that would mean that the bunch needs to slow down to let them come back. So the time gap will increase again. Now it really increased again. So really, what I said, they are by far stronger on the climb than the worker piece behind. So that should give them really confidence that they can make it.
Talking of Scarlett Søren, she was actually 2nd in the Luxembourg race in 24.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, she was.
Okay.
Yeah. So she's the rider for tomorrow. I'm guessing.
I remember the 2024, the second day. I was doing the lead out, and that was the day where the race was shortened by one lap because there was a fire on the lap. So within 5K, we needed to organize a lead out, and I know I was in the lead out for Barbara Guarici. Was it Bobby? I've also Alzheimer already, so I cannot really remember. But yes, to be honest, I don't know who finished on the podium that day.
Oh, she's got a gap. Is she trying to go it alone? I don't think that's a good idea. Maybe on the last lap.
This might now be a little bit where the youth is and the unexperience pops out. I think it would have been maybe a little bit smarter to still stay together for one more lap and maybe do this as a last final lap.
Yeah, I agree, and I noticed that Hannah Ludwigs looked over her shoulder at Michaela Harvey, and Michaela's just thinking, well, I've got a whole team behind, including two very decent sprinters.
Yes, this is now putting also the two riders at the back a little bit on a difficult position. Should they just stop the effort and say to the team, okay, girls, we have a situation here, you need to ride, we need to bring it just back full gas. I can tell that Harvey now here also is a little bit hesitating.
Yeah. She's at least, she's come through, but before she did so, she looked over her shoulder, didn't she?
It's not something really powerful anymore, or at least she doesn't want to put so much effort in it.
I mean, it's a brave move by the
We might
Canadian,
be wrong.
right?
We might be wrong.
Can you imagine?
I hope for her that we might be wrong.
Yeah.
But for sure, if Cofidis and SD Works now see that the riders they had in front are not able to win it, they for sure also have to start riding in the peloton, and that might then be the
nail in the coffin.
Not such a good situation for.
Oh, unless she's just going for a combativity prize.
Is there?
Well, she might think there is.
No, but to be honest, it's a brave attempt. I mean, she's really also putting a lot of a gap already to the two others who, well, Hannah, to be honest, she did a lot of work, so it's quite normal that maybe she's not so fresh anymore. But yeah, this now needs to see how the peloton is reacting over the top of this, but. For sure, if the two riders are not coming back, and they will not come back, I think these two big teams have to start riding if they want to have a chance.
Especially SD Works and Cofidis, big teams who have come here with decent riders who can get a result.
I didn't see who's still in the peloton for Cofidis. I think I saw that Martina Alzini got dropped a little bit earlier on, so. She's actually also quite fast girl.
Yeah. Burlova was out.
Burlova is also out, so I don't know who's left for them in the peloton, but for sure, SD Works, then they have to ride.
Qualiotto is, if she's still in there, she was 7th in here last year, so she would be, on paper at least, the natural choice, but we don't know who else is going well. AG Insurance now come to the front and putting an effort in with SD Works on the wheel. I think, is that Grace?
This is Femke.
Femke Heritzer, yeah. Who do you think they'll go for? Lack, because she's won here so many times before, or will they go for Femke?
Well, Marta, at least she seems to get the timing right here on the sprint. So she has the experience that is actually needed in the sprint, I think, to do well. Well, depends also on how Femke is feeling. She really had a strong breakthrough out here last year with winning a stage in Vuelta and wearing the red jersey for quite a few days.
Yeah.
She was also on the attack in Liège-Bastogne-Liège, which showed that the shape is going up, and well, it would be nice for her to have a little success day also.
Good to see Mendelsbeck still there. I couldn't see which rider it was. Obviously, they've lost Peroni, but just race direction car coming up behind Svirenga, actually pushing her along a little bit there, aren't they? And the
Yes.
sort of reverse aerodynamics.
Yeah, exactly. There's aerodynamics from the front and the pushing aerodynamics from the back. So this car is pushing air, and the air is pushing the rider, and that's why actually
into the pocket of air that the motorbike is giving
they
her.
they should keep
not
a
be
little
there.
bit more distance.
Yeah. This is a true commitment here now from AG Insurance. Pushing through to the front. There's two riders from SD Works just behind with Geritza and Marta Lack. You can see there's plenty of SD Works riders still in the team. Just a chat there. Is that Goriski she's talking to?
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is the part where on the lap before they came really, really close.
Yeah.
So this is again the part where the peloton also on this lap wants to also try and bring it as close as possible again. Especially as now there's only one rider in front, and we
riding.
see that SD Works they got the message from Harvey that it's not gonna be her today, and that they have to go to try and bring it back. So they probably go full gas now until the last climb, trying to bring the rider from Liv as close as possible.
And you can see Cofidis are just starting to get together on the back of the SD Works train. Volker Vessels are also there. You can see the young rider there from Visma Leasebike, Rosita Reinhout, is also lurking around in there somewhere. And one of her teammates is also still present in the peloton there, quite close behind, and that will be Katarina Sadnik, who is just that little bit further back in that peloton, taking her gels, trying to keep herself fueled. But I think this is a done deal now. You can just see.
I think she really made this a big mistake by overestimating herself. Maybe well, it's youth, and if she doesn't try, she doesn't know. But now she knows. I think it would. Team SD Works Pro Time wouldn't ride behind like they do right now if she would have kept Harvey with her. And if she does this effort in the last lap instead of this lap, it might be a success. But now we see Barbara Guarici really going full gas, and I think by the time they reach the downhill going into the last time on the line, they will be back.
Yeah.
And I really love the commitment they show here, Team SD Works. We didn't really see them a lot during the race. We saw Harvey on the attack, Heberlin on the attack a little bit, but not collectively as a group. And this is actually what I miss most about not being on my bike, the fact that you come together as a team, and you ride together as a team. The six of them together.
Yeah, it's all six, isn't it? Yeah.
And they have a plan. They probably decided already who they are riding for, or who's trying to go on a break now on the last time on the climb, and who will sit easily on the wheels for a sprint if the breakaway is not going to happen.
I think I think talking about Svirenga, however. Should say it. She's given up there. She's just soft tapping through. I mean, she's coming up to the left-hander, isn't she? I wonder what the DS would say in her ears. Right, I can go. Well, go on then. See what happens. You know, because we all know we learn well from mistakes, don't we?
Yes, but here it was then also probably a mistake from the guiding from behind. If I would have been in the car, I would have called her back straight away. When I saw that she had a gap, I would have said, you are really strong, and I appreciate the effort, but if you want to win this race, it's not in this lap, it might be on the one after, and now you can really see the speed difference. They are coming in here with Bobby doing the lead out for going on to last climb with 5 SD Works Pro Time riders in the wheel, and that's over and out for the breakaway. But here again, I hope that the important part is that she understands the mistake she did, the potential she had, because I think that was quite a potential, because you can see now she actually got called with 1K to go. Yeah. If she does that one lap later with an increased gap, because they would have been riding together and the peloton would not have catch them back, Well, she could maybe potentially have
won.
made it.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, especially as we all get more strength when we're that close to the line, don't we? Just that little bit.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
also easy to sit to talk sitting in a chair here.
Yeah,
so
that's right. Yeah,
just shut up.
definitely, definitely. But this is a full-on lead out here from the SD Works team. We still got
There's
all six.
Elena Cecchini,
Yeah.
Barbara Guarici,
Yeah.
Steffi Heberlin.
And
Marta
these are the Elena and Barbara are the true engines of this team, aren't
Yes,
they?
they are the most experienced riders. They know when to do what. They are gonna do their effort now until the bottom of the climb, and then they just do the recovery for the last lap. Their work is done, and also here, well done, because well, the situation is under control for their leaders, and now it's up to the leaders to try something. As I can see, Steffi, she's probably the strongest climber of the four left. If you take Bobby out,
do you think this is a lead out for her to give it a nudge?
Yeah, this might. Job well done for Elena. This might be kind of a preparation for. They show her because I said they need to film Elena for her last time. This might be a full effort for Steffi to try and do something. I don't know. Maybe, hopefully. Yeah, Bobby's just giving everything here now. She's going now out. That's
Go girls, go girls. Yeah.
Yeah.
We can tell she was a mountain biker, can't you? Hopping up and down. I mean, she rode a couple of races last year, I think, UCI mountain bike races. I don't think she's raced at all this year. Oh, look at this. It reminds me of the Kuurne Brussels Kuurne when Tom Bonen won, and the breakaway was the whole quick step team, and that was it. But they're away, and they really need to try and take advantage of this. So what have you got? One of the Volker Wessels girls there, and a Cofidis rider, yeah. And there's some proper tracing going on there.
And we have Rosita from Bismarck bike trying to
bring it back.
The
trouble is it bringing it back. What's she going to be able to do?
I think she was just out of position.
Yeah.
It was not that she's not strong enough. I think she was just only in 10th position. I mean, there were already 6 SD Works riders in front, so you're pretty quick out of position, to be honest. So she first has to do an effort to come back to overcome the gaps that other riders left in front of her.
So there's just confirmation that whilst we already knew that Ludwig won the Queen of the Mountains competition, that Nika Veenhoven has won the sprints competition. There's no points for that competition on the finish line. It's just for the winning. But this is a massive effort here from Steffi Haberlin, the Swiss rider. Came close to winning a stage last year at the Tour de Romandie. Just trackies look under her arm, and she's got 2 teammates there. And
yeah, I'm curious to see now how they handle this situation, because it was a strong climb, but the group is actually still pretty big.
Yeah. And so we can tell now that
and also they are still with 3. I'm sorry, I cut you.
No.
They are still with 3, and all the other riders are 1 by 1. So there's no other team that is overrepresented like SD Works. So for the other riders, there's of course absolutely no reason now to take over here.
No.
So you could think it's nice to be with 3, but actually, it is.
How many times have we seen that not work? You know, it's not a guarantee, is it?
It's not a guarantee.
So Haberlin back on the front. What we've seen here, though, what's been confirmed here, is Marta Lack coming through and taking a turn, and she looks in all sorts of trouble here, rocking and rolling on her bike, that they're going to be looking to ride for Femke Geritsa, who's just, 4th wheel there. You've got Haberlin on the front, one of the riders there from Volker Wessels. Then you've got Marta Lack, winner on 2 occasions here in Garnich, and behind them you've got Femke Geritsa. She's a strong rider. Could she attack on the climb, do you think, and try going solo?
She could, but she also has a really good kick.
Really good sprint, yeah. She outsprint. Was it Voss that winning that stage?
She's one of those riders. Few riders only in the world that was able to beat Marianne Vos on a sprint. Marianne, who is probably the rider who has the the best kick ever.
Yeah. Do you think riders still are amazed when they find themselves riding next to her? I mean,
I think they do, yes. I mean, I beat Marianne also once in the sprint, and that's my favorite finish picture, because I'm also kind of proud of that win. So yeah, I think that a lot of riders are looking up to her, and she's also, well, she's my age, so I'm not going to say she's old, but she's there already for quite a while. So riders that only started riding their bike. They saw her becoming world champion.
Looks like she's on the radio there saying something, and she's dropped way back in that group. Mind you, Harbelin putting in a big effort in, so whatever's come over the radio is just go harder, I think. But regarding Vos, I mean, she was my first sit-down interview, and she invited me for dinner in a hotel afterwards, and I said no, I wouldn't do that now, anything for a free lunch. But I think one of the most remarkable people as well as racers that you're going to come across. And also, before we go on, her dad, Henk, was just a top bloke, and I'm so sad to hear he died recently. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's mostly, I guess, also because of Marianne that also Rabobank and later Visma Lease Bike. I mean, these were teams that were built around Marianne and made women's cycling grow, and gave also opened doors for other riders too.
Well, that's a good point actually on Visma Lease Bike. I think the first time I really noticed, Whoa, crikey, that was a good save. The first time I really noticed that they weren't just the Vos and Pauline Ferrand-Prévot team anymore was here last year when Fidanza won, and how they bossed the race here. And I really like the look of that. The American rider there on the back is Catherine Sarkisov, who actually is the rider they were going for today. I spoke to Alison Murugal before the race, and she said watch out for her. So I can only guess that she's the rider there that they were looking at going for. And the UAE rider is one of the family riders is Faye Knaven, whose sister is riding for. Is the sister is also riding for one of the teams here today. Her other sister rides for EF Education. Mother and her father were both professionals. Her dad won Paris-Roubaix. Her mother, when she gave up, created the NXTG, the Next Generation team. You know, this is a cycling family. So we've got a hell of a group here, and all the responsibility is falling on SD Works. Not that they're not used to that. I think that they're happy to take the pressure, aren't they?
It's a luxury problem. If everyone is looking at you, means that you are the strongest. So you should not get frustrated by it. At least I was never frustrated by it. I always felt like it was a privilege. And now, Steffi is doing most of the work here, so that Gary and Marta can relax a little bit. Yeah. But on the other hand, the peloton is not quite far away. So if they start looking at each other in the front, it can go also very quick. So yeah, it's a tricky situation with only Steffi riding.
It's only it's a definite commit now, isn't it?
Yeah, for Steffi anyway. I mean, she's not the fastest sprinter from SD Works Pro Time here, so it's quite normal that she's doing most of the work here. Well, I'm a little bit afraid that the others are freewheeling in the wheel.
And in this group, we've got Nadia Cogliotto, who is the Cofidis rider. Chiara Regini is the rider from the Fassa Bortolo team.
We have also the Elina Janssen, which I was talking a little bit earlier on, who I identified as the best rider from Volker Wessel, at least the rider with the most promising results since the beginning of the season, and she made this breakaway. So she's definitely a girl I would look out if it comes to a sprint. She's also already sitting in the good wheels. So yeah, she knows why she's there.
And number 33 there, the rider from Liverlula, is Talia Appleton, who actually is a rider whose name I'd written down, probably more by luck than any kind of knowledge. But yeah, so they're in that group, but are they going to come back? You can see that a flotilla of motorcycles just behind them, which are just slightly helping the group, the chasing group, but which is going to be driven on now. I think it's still Harbelin at the front, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just because I'm Luxembourg, I was just trying to find if we still have any Luxembourger rider in there. I think I saw Nina Berton from the national team. She's still sitting in the peloton, so that's a nice thing. Well, for her, then I wish it comes back. But for the riders in front that did put in a lot of effort, yeah, I'm always in favour of the breakaway, of the brave ones, I would say. Yeah,
well, I think that's a natural thing, isn't it?
But yeah, behind AG is trying to collect again. We saw that this is their strongest power. If they still have one or two riders that can commit, yeah, we saw in the laps before that it can come down quite quick, especially as we now really only have Steffi riding here.
But we've only got 2.8 kilometres to go. The big old wind turbine there blowing in the background. You can see it's going round. It's going to give them a bit of a tailwind when they turn.
No, it's now it's full headwind here actually. So that's also not really nice for Steffi, but she has no choice now anymore. She just needs to go, and then hopefully at one moment others will see or feel that they can still do it and try to take over.
And they'll use Lack to try and position.
We have an attack from
and we've got an attack, from the Chiara Regini there from the Fassa Bortolo team. Marta Lack just swinging across to her right to get in the wheel, and Steffi Harbelin will swing across and get in the protection of that. But there's two riders coming across here, one from the AG Insurance team and one from the Liverlula Jaco team. I think that is the Erin Boothman just coming across. You saw on the radio there, and that could be Ilse Ploemers that's just closing that gap now. We've got a bigger group now come together. A number of extra riders come together as this is coming through. Regini still putting an effort in. We've got quite a way to go to that left-hander, haven't we?
Looks also like Marta now is committing to ride, so they probably sprint for Gary. This is the two riders that made the bridge. Is also a sign that the peloton now probably is not coming back, because it was mostly AG riding behind. Now they have a rider in front. They don't need to ride anymore. So this group probably is gonna sprint for the win. Liv, Lula, they have now two riders, so hopefully they can talk to each other a little bit to help each other.
Got Appleton in there, and we couldn't quite see who the other rider that's just bridged across. But if whoever it is, that's a good bit of strength just to try and bridge across there. On the wheel there, Qualiotto, the Cofidis rider, just sticking her nose in the wind, and Aline, sorry, the Visma Lisa bike rider is Rosita Reinhardt. Yeah. Right, we've got 1.4 kilometres to go. Back on the front now is Steffi Harbelin putting one last effort in. On her wheel is Marta Lack, and just looking over her shoulder there, you can see Femke Heritzer there just looking over, having a look, see what's going to go on. Reinhardt probably a bit too slight to be able to sprint it out. Erin Boothman, I think that's Boothman, just come up onto the wheel of her teammate Talia Appleton. I think it's Boothman, but I'm not certain. And you've got the AG Insurance rider, so you've got a double group here. You've got one team on one side of the road, and Harbelin just trying to cut the nose off of the Liverlula girls, just there taking the shortest line across the road. This is a strong ride there from Harbelin, and you've got SD Works are looking in good position. They're looking comfortable there, but who knows what you got left in the legs after this race. Still Harbelin drives it on. Reinhardt from the Visma Lisa bike there, rider, just sticking her nose in the wind, and the Liverlula girls, Appleton just dropping her teammate off into that group. This is going to to be a 10-woman sprint coming up very, very shortly. As soon as you come out from these trees here, you can see across the bend and you can see into the finish line. 300 metres to go now. SD Works looking calm. You've got Marta Lack in second wheel. Heritzer just looking to come out and open her sprint up. Lack opens it up now. You've got Quagliotto on the right-hand side. Lack going really hard. Is Lack going to take it from Heritzer? Heritzer is now on the inside of the bend. It's going to be Heritzer and Lack in second place, I believe.
Yes, that's a 1 and 2 for SD Works Pro Time with a win of Femke Gerritzer.
Well, that was an exciting finish. I do like an exciting finish. I always love it to see people sprinting for places, even if it is like 25th or something. I do like that. It's a natural competition thing.
It was a master class actually here. We had a master class lead out. We had a master class also last ride because she absolutely opened on the right moment. She opened on the good side so that Geri could take the short line.
I don't know.
And jump it.
Did Lack get that? Did Marta get that?
I think she got
what
second.
A ride. What a ride from Harbelin there. That was super strong.
Yes. This was, the tree you see here, but it was absolutely a team effort also to bring the Liv Alula rider back. That was already a big effort from Barbara Guarici and Elena Cecchini. Harvey did rocket in the breakaway, so everyone played a role in this double podium. Congrats to them.
Yeah, you're absolutely spot on there. If you think there is no rider that didn't have quite a major part, Elena Cecchini, first race back after that hand injury, and even she contributed quite a lot to bringing that break back. We know Guariski did a lot of the work as well. Michaela in the front group, and then the final three. That was a team performance, though perhaps you might expect that from what we know is the strongest team in the the strongest team in the race. Six riders against the four.
It's not always the easiest races to win. No? It's not because you have 6 very strong girls that you're definitely gonna make it, because everyone is looking at you. If they don't make the effort at the right moment to come back, well, it might not happen if they are not committed to one each other. Well, if everyone wants his own part of the cake, it's also not happening. So it's a lot of things that have to come together, and today was just, I think, a perfect day for them. But I really like the way Liv Alula Jaco, I'm sorry if I get the name wrong maybe, but how they rode brave, they went into attack. I was also impressed by how they bridged over. We can see the...
I'll just give you confirmation, it was Marta Lack that won.
Yes?
Yeah, with Femke Gerritzer, so that's a third consecutive race here that she's won. It's just straightening that bend up though, isn't it?
Okay. If it would be 1 meter longer, then they switch position.
Yeah. I'll have to ask you exactly the same questions later.
In the end, it doesn't really matter. It stays in the team. So yeah, congrats.
But I was very impressed by Liv as well. I think they rode a really mature race for a bunch of young women. They really impressed me. There's Nina Berton being interviewed there, as we explained earlier, another woman who's had a super strong season, and I'd love to see her get a result sometime.
I think she has quite a lot of freedom now, that she showed also that she made a step, and I hope that she can get more than a top 10, maybe get a podium once in a while at a bigger race. She definitely has the mindset for it, and is putting all the efforts needed to have it in the maybe this season.
It was Erin Boothman, so it was Erin Boothman that had bridged across the Liv Alula Jaco rider. So it's Marta Lack first, Femke Gerritzer second, Eline Jansen third, Ilse Pleumers, who was the AG Insurance. So all those that we ticked.
Yeah, we were quite good. I
mean,
I was not good because I said Femke won, and it was Marta. I think I need to go to the doctor to get my eyes checked.
Erin Boothman, Nadia Quagliotto in 6th. Boothman was 5th. Quagliotto in 6th. Feigenhaven in 7th, and Sarkisov in 8th. Rosita Reinhout in 9th, and Chiara Regini in 10th. that's the top 10 we've got for you so far. I would say that was a fascinating race. I think tactically it was really interesting. I think the break from Svirenga was a tactical mistake, you know, but she's 18, she's allowed to make mistakes.
Absolutely. Well, I'm happy the Breakaway won. I'm happy the ones who attempted Breakaway got a nice gift, which does not always happen. And I'm of course happy that my ex-teammates won.
Yeah. I mean, that's a perfect indication today. The two teams, let's point out Liverlula Jacob, Continental and SD Works, two teams working brilliantly as a team to achieve the result. Yes, I know that a Boovman only, in inverted commas please, came 5th. Yeah, but it shows the power of the team, doesn't it? And that cycling truly is a team sport. They look disappointed, and I don't know if that's a bad thing. I think
they shouldn't. We need to check the sprint. I was more focused on the first line than the 4th and 5th. So they need to maybe analyze where Bootman did. Maybe she did a mistake in the sprint. Maybe that's why they are a little bit disappointed. I don't know, but I mean, they had one rider in front. They bridged over to have their good rider, their good sprinter also in front, which was a quite impressive effort because they actually came back very quick. It was a really a nice effort. So they were reading the race really well, and then in a sprint is happening what happens in a sprint. As I told already, if you don't have a really lead out here, it's hard to really to time it well.
Of course, Femke Heriter is another of the Volker Wessels graduates, isn't she? She was on when it was Park Hotel.
Yes, she's coming from them. They do an excellent work also of scouting, and I know that SD Works Pro Time they have been working quite closely with them together, and Gary is one of them.
And Nina gets the best Luxembourg rider on the finish. But I really enjoyed that. What a good, interesting, exciting race. I think the two breakaways towards the end, whilst I acknowledge that Svirenga signed her own death warrant there by just going early. She's 18 and you're allowed to make mistakes. And then the strength of the SD Works team to put that together. Looks like that rider there, number 42, has had a bit of an issue.
It has been just a hard race, hard day. I mean, we're going to see some important moments of the race now in an overview, just to show you that it's normal that at the end of the race you are washed out.
Yeah. I don't even race and I'm washed out. But UAE earlier in the race taking a little bit of control and setting up one of the early sprints, 60 k's an hour up the little slope through the village here. We didn't even get time to talk about Elsy Jacobs herself. Nina Berton, the local rider, taking a little bit of responsibility on the front, and then the amazing Barbara Groiski, one of the greatest bike handlers in the peloton, railing it round that bend, using every millimetre of the road. There was a bit of a settling in the race in the middle, but it soon kicked off again after a couple of unfortunate incidents. City Mesh Custom doing their normal thing and enlivening the race, but it was Hannah Ludwig who really gave the race some massive impetus, setting up that mid-race breakaway and driving it along all the way through. Started as a group of 7, I seem to recall, and then gradually under Ludwig's pressure, and obviously the teamwork from the other 2 riders, dropped 3 of them. And then just on the penultimate lap, perhaps the tiniest of mistakes there from Sydney Svirenga, attacking solo, maybe 10 k's, a lap too early, and meaning that SD Works now, without their rider up the road, we're going to lay their cards on the table and go for the win. So Rengo was caught just before the end of that penultimate lap with 10.7 kilometres to go, and then it was all SD Works. Steffi Harbelin here on the climb just at the opening part of the course, absolutely shredding the peloton and causing a group to go clear. And then from there, obviously, we know what happened with SD Works driving the race on. Harbelin riding like an absolute true trooper and bringing home her two teammates to sprint it out for the win. And it was Marta Lack that came across the line first with her teammate Femke Gerritsen very close behind in second place. And Eline Janssen from Volker Wessels, who also did a lot of work to bring the breakaway back, coming in third place. Here we see the sprint set up again by Harbelin. Marta Lack leading out, as she did last year. And whilst the peloton were desperately trying to get back on terms, it was Harbelin... it was Lack that took the win. I will be interested to see the photo finish. I still have the finish from last year, and it was like that.
Yeah. It looks like Marta likes to do it very close.
Yeah.
Because last year already she was winning this with a centimeter of being ahead of the second.
If I get hold of that picture, I'll stick it on my Instagram. I don't know what my Instagram address is.
I think it's a copy paste of last year.
But and I'm sure Christine will stick it on her Instagram. She probably has a few more followers than me. Like, I think I've got like 80.
I just got a remark from my director sportif. I need to say sorry because I always call Femke Gerritsen Gerry, because that's her nickname in the team. So sorry if I was always saying Gerry and no one understood who it was. If you can now make the link that every time Gerry means it was Femke.
Well, we'll be talking about them again tomorrow, I think.
Then I take the remark and it will be Femke then.
It'll be
tomorrow.
Okay.
Well, anyway, now you're confusing me more.
Yeah, a good race. I really enjoyed that. Number 62 there is Florian Bolks. Well, thank you very much. We really enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed the race as well. It's only the first instalment of this year's Festival Elsy Jacobs. Tomorrow we'll be back same time, same place. Well, you'll be in the same place. We'll be down on the edge of Luxembourg for the second part of Luxembourg City, that is, in the suburb of Cessange for the Elsy Jacobs course at Luxembourg, which is 125.2 kilometres, a little bit longer, slightly changed route, but we'll explain that. There on the screen you have your results. Marta Lack first, Femke Gerritsen in second, Eline Janssen, Ilse Pluimers, Erin Boothman, Nadia Quagliotto, Faye Knave, Catherine Sarkisov, Rosita Reinhardt, Chiara Regini. That's it from us. That's what I'm trying to say. And myself and Christine will do it all again tomorrow, eh?
Yeah, see you tomorrow.
Thank you. Cheers.
Mir mat Weine so gefangen. Tja, wir da war nie wirklich als Kollege.
Welcome to Luxembourg.
Aber wir waren bei weitem nicht die Christ.
Welcome to Belgium.
Sogar als Boden war nicht immens. Aber so sind die Leute von hier. Sie gesehen, wird kein Sinn.
Porque o crescimento é estado de espírito e não uma questão de ter mais.
Perché le persone sono come semi.
Það samlagast og sameinast.
हमारी योजनाओं लगा दी गई है.
وضعت خطتنا.
Unsere Entscheidungen getroffen.
ゆっくりだけど、私たちの小さな種から。
Quelque chose de beau a grandi en nous.
Osjećaj pripadnosti.
Luxembourgers do not fear any loss of identity. They have confidence in the strength of their national character. Luxembourg lives, thinks, and plans internationally.
Und das mit der Approche, dass diese Boden ein gemeinsames Land genießt. Heißt gemeinsames Land.